Welcome to my third video. Hopefully, it's even better than the last ones. Today's theme is all about justice and tough decisions, real Reddit stories where people stood their ground or maybe crossed the line. Listen closely and tell me in the comments, was the author right or did they go too far? Every story will have its original Reddit link in the description, so you can read the full post and check the updates if you want. First story, Astas, about greedy parents. Let's get into it. This happened over Christmas and it's turning into a whole family drama. My daughter Sophia, 12, and her cousin Martina, 6, daughter of my sister Maria and her husband Jose, were gifted blind box labubus as part of their Christmas gift from my other sister, Sarah. They each opened their boxes. Martina got a brown one and Sophia got a pink one. Martina immediately wanted the pink one, and Sophia immediately offered a trade because she already has the pink one and was hoping for the brown one. They traded, both girls were happy, and that was that. Or so I thought. Later, Martina's parents found out from taking to someone that the brown labubu is apparently a rare secret version that can sell for $250 plus. Once they learned that, they called me, said the girls needed to switch back and that Sophia was to return the brown one immediately. They even wanted me to drive over with it then and there, despite the fact they live an hour away and it was already 8 p.m. I asked if Martina actually wanted the brown one back. They said that wasn't the point. After some pushing back, Jose admitted someone was willing to pay him $225 for the brown one and give Martina the pink one she wants. I said I wouldn't force Sophia to swap back. From my perspective, both kids were happy with the trade and got the labubu they wanted. Sophia didn't pressure or manipulate Martina into switching. If she had, I would have stepped in immediately and told her, you get what you get and you don't get upset. When I asked her, Sophia admitted she knew the brown one was rare, but when I asked how much they sell for, she said they are blind boxes, so you can't buy the brown, they just make less of them. She didn't know it was worth money, she's not a good liar, and she appeared to be telling the truth. Martina originally didn't want the brown one and basically got upset when she saw Sophia got pink. It feels like Maria and Jose only want the brown one back because they can sell it and pocket money from it. Now they're upset with me and saying I'm being unfair and taking advantage of a 6-year-old. And Jose even called Sophia a manipulative which I think is a reach when Sophia didn't know it was worth a lot of money. She just knew they were rare to pull, that she already had the pink, and Martina was crying for the pink one. Sarah has said this is stupid parent drama and she's staying out of it and said we can sort it out ourselves. The second story dives into something many couples experience, jokes and teasing. Where's the line between playful fun and hurtful comments? Can just joking still be disrespectful? Let's hear the story and decide, is the boyfriend just being funny or crossing the line? A little background. We've been going out since high school and have a very jokey relationship. Poking fun for the most part isn't out of the question, though if one of us says we aren't comfortable with one of the jokes, the other makes an effort not to make it again. For the most part, more context coming. I have been a bit of an obsessive fan of music artists since I was 14. I have more than one tattoo inspired by this artist and her aesthetic. I have seen her in concert multiple times. I own more merch than I can say and have run several different fan accounts devoted to her during this time. I understand this is weird. I try not to bring it up in everyday conversation because I am aware it is weird. Most people who know me in passing do not know this about me, and only my best friend and my boyfriend know about my fan accounts. I am not the person who talks about this artist constantly. I am not the person who is annoying in large groups about it. Anymore, there was a learning curve when I was in high school, but losing friends is a great motivator to fix yourself. My boyfriend has on and off made jokes about this since we got together. Admittedly, whenever I bring up that it makes me feel insecure and unsafe expressing myself around him, he stops for a while. But he always starts up again, and it just bothers me. I can't fully explain it, but it makes me feel like the things I like are somehow inherently bad, and that he wants me to stop having this interest because he doesn't see value in it. Now, he's never said that, and I don't genuinely believe that, but that's how he makes me feel. I had been cleaning dishes and listening to her music when he came into the kitchen and started singing along in the most high-pitched, off-key falsetto voice I had ever heard, before busting up and turning it off and saying something like, "I don't see how you listen to this crap." This was one of the times I told him that he had hurt my feelings. He apologized, explained that he had only meant it as a lighthearted joke, and that he didn't care what kind of music I listened to. I don't really get mad over this. It more just hurts my feelings. Context out of the way, we were out at dinner with his friends and their girlfriends, and I had left to go to the bathroom and came back to him showing them a video on his phone, and the audio was familiar right away. It was a performance from over a decade ago that was panned pretty universally. They were all laughing and he was making a lot of jokes until he noticed I had gone quiet and said to lighten up. I tried to smile, but he wouldn't drop it, and I said, "I don't like your music either, but I would never make fun of you for it, you know that?" It was a quiet meal and ride home, and he is now barely talking to me. Two of the girlfriends there said I made everything awkward and that I was being unfair because we always made jokes with each other. The third story touches on something we all struggle with: priorities. How do you balance work, family, and your own needs without making your loved ones feel left behind? This story explores how one woman tries to reconnect with her family without blame, but with honesty. Are we too quick to say, "I'm just busy," and not quick enough to show we care? Let's listen. I, 27F, am married to a man, 34M. Together we have 2 children, his daughter, 11, and a son we shared, 4. We've been married for 6 years. We have the older girl on a 50-50 schedule. The way it works out, she is at our house typically 3 to 4 nights a week, and then her mother's house the same amount of time. A big area of conflict between my husband and I is that he feels he doesn't get enough time with his child. We fight about it all the time, and I'm not really sure how to help him with this. He has been divorced for 10 years, and the custody schedule he has had been in place since long before I came into the picture, years. Recently, he has been working only part-time, so he is off 100% of the time she is here, even if she's at school. And I took a second job so we could work the logistics financially. because I really wanted to help him with this. Our day-to-day schedule looks a lot like I get up with the kids and get them off to school, then I go to work. Since hubby has to be at work at 5 a.m., the days he works, I let him sleep in when he is off. The kids do aftercare after school until I get off from work. I go pick them up around 4:45 p.m. When we get home, hubby will talk to the kids about 10 to 15 minutes while I walk the dogs. Then my son will watch TV while my SD, stepdaughter, and I will do her homework. My husband will take this as an opportunity to go to the bathroom. Around 5:30 to 6, I'll start cooking dinner while SD and son play. At this point, every single day, my husband is still in the bathroom. Around 6:30, I will knock and tell him dinner's on the table. It takes him roughly 15 to 20 minutes to come to eat with us. As soon as dinner is over, he excuses himself back into the bathroom. The kids and I clean the kitchen, and then they do their baths, etc. And around 8:30, I will knock again for him to come tuck in our son. Husband and SD will hang out for about an hour while I do the house chores, and then I will go walk SD up to bed, and hubby will take his shower and go to bed himself. I walk the dogs again and then do the same. So the other night my husband told my SD she didn't have to go to bed on time, and I pulled him aside and reminded him she had a big test the next day, and past performance has proven she needs effective rest the night before. After she went to bed, we had another all-out fight over how he feels it's my fault he never spends time with her. I yelled at him that if he didn't spend hours every night in the bathroom, he would have more time with her while she is awake. Obviously, something else is going on with him, because if he even cared about her, he would make time for her the way I do. He has not spoken to me in 4 days, even though I have tried to say I'm sorry so many times, so I know I really hurt him. I think I may be the AH, because I know this is the one thing he is most insecure about, and I threw it into his face in a moment of anger. Next up, a story of love, friendship, and maybe something more. 2 childhood best friends liked the same guy. One ended up marrying him, the other said she was fine with it. But as the wedding gets closer, things start to feel off. Is the bride just overthinking, or is her best friend still secretly in love with the groom? Let's hear the story and see where the truth lies. I, 27F, have been best friends with Kira, 27F, since we were little. We were neighbors, went to the same school, college, etc. She was my MOH when I married Rowan, 28M, who we went to college with. At first, Kira had a big crush on him, but he started liking me. We slowly got closer, and I started liking him too. This was after Kira had told me she'd gotten over it and was dating another guy. But I still felt really guilty and didn't want to date him if it would hurt Kira. I asked her multiple times if she was okay with it, and she said she was, so I thought it was fine. Kira's been with her latest boyfriend, Adam, 27 minutes, for a year or so. However, over the last few months, she's been acting strange around Rowan. Whenever we'd be hanging out with the 3 of us, or even with Adam there, she'd always find some way to sit next to Rowan, laugh at everything he said, etc. I didn't think anything of it initially because I knew that's kind of her personality, and her and Rowan are friends. But then she started always asking me if Rowan was there before she came over, and if I said no, she'd often suddenly say she couldn't come, though sometimes she would say that, even if I said he was here. Rowan also told me about a comment she made to him once about how he was so patient for putting up with me being too tired to do anything with him now that I was pregnant, which I thought was weird. The odd behavior continued, but TBH, the pregnancy had been keeping me too exhausted to give it a lot more thought, and Rowan seemed as friendly with Kira as always. But 2 days ago, our mutual friend Shay threw a dinner party. Me and Rowan went, as did Kira and Adam. Kira got a bit tipsy, and she kept trying to sit with Rowan and touch him. He excused himself a few times, but she kept finding him. I tried to get her off a few times, and I was getting mad because this was a new line she was crossing. She was slurring about how I stole Rowan from her. Thankfully, Adam was too busy talking to Shay's husband to hear this, but he definitely saw Kira's actions. The next afternoon, I was at Shay's again with some friends when Kira showed up. She was crying about how Adam had broken up with her that day, saying he didn't think they were going to work out. Everyone was consoling her, but I was just kind of sitting there. I couldn't help but feel like she brought this upon herself. She asked me, "Aren't you going to say something?" So I said, "Maybe Adam wouldn't have left you if you weren't trying to get with Rowan all the time." Some of our other friends were shocked to hear this and got mad at Kira. Some got angry with me, saying Kira was just really friendly with everyone, and that was a horrible accusation to make. Kira was upset, saying she couldn't believe I thought that of her, and maybe we really weren't that close. She left in tears, and I left soon after too. Now I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Kira had been drinking at the dinner party, and might not have meant what she said, and the other stuff could have been nothing. Maybe this was too harsh to say to her after a breakup, and we could have talked privately, not in front of our friends. Our final story brings us into the world of family, fairness, and setting boundaries. A bride-to-be explains to her future sister-in-law why her kids won't be receiving any gifts from them, and she has her reasons. But is it fair? Is she being honest? Or just cruel? Let's dive into the full story and you decide, is this about justice or holding a grudge? I, 27F, have a brother, 33M, who has been dating his girlfriend Sarah for 2 years, and he proposed a couple of months ago. Sarah has 2 kids from her previous relationship, 8M and 6F. I would say that my parents and I are not very close to Sarah and her kids, but we are cordial and never had any problems before. My partner, Ibro, and Sarah attended the Easter dinner at my parents', and that's when the drama happened. Sarah's kids were at their father's. So Sarah used this celebration to confront us about my brother requesting a prenup. Basically, my brother explained to her that he expects them to sign a prenup and that only his biological kids will have the right to inherit anything from our family assets. This is something that we as a family discussed before, and we all agree that only our children should receive assets or money from our inheritance. My brother is free to pay whatever he wants for his stepchildren out of his own money, but my children and his bio children will never have to share anything that our family has with them. Sarah claimed that we are being unfair and that we are treating her and her kids like some strangers instead of embracing them like family. She said that the normal and decent thing to do was for us to see her kids, like my brother's kids, who should have equal rights to any children they may have together. I told her sure, After she gets married to my brother, she will become our in-law and her kids will be my brother's stepchildren, but this does not mean we have to share anything with them. I asked her, will my future kids receive anything from her parents or from their bio father's parents? She said no, obviously. So I asked her, then why would her kids be entitled to receive anything from us? Sarah said because they will be our family. So I told her that. We have plenty of cousins that are also family, but I don't go around wishing to share my inheritance with them. There was a lot more back and forth between us, and Sarah was not letting this go. My brother asked her to stop because we were there to celebrate Easter, not to have this kind of conversation, but she kept on going, saying we need to clarify it once and for all. I told her from where we stand, everything is clear and it is only her who has a problem. She said we are greedy and cruel to some kids, and I snapped. I told her to deal with it. She is free to work her ass off and gather assets to leave to her children, but we will never divide anything outside of our family, and she should not expect her children to be our problem or burden to finance. I honestly feel she is very manipulative and is using my brother for what she and her kids can get from him. But that's my brother's problem to decide if this is the kind of partner he wants. I just want to know if I was too blunt in telling her the truth. And that's it for today's stories. I'd love to hear what you think. Were the authors in the right, or did someone cross the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. You can find the original Reddit posts linked in the video description if you want to read them yourself, or just hit replay and listen again from the beginning. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss new stories. And hey, if you have a story about relationships, drama, regret, or tough decisions, leave it in the comments. You might hear your story in one of the next videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.